Hey everyone, Zion over here from Nintendo Life, and today I'm hanging out with Jirard, the Completionist, at PAX East. You're making a game.
I'm actually making several games, but this is the first game that's ready to kick ass and take names.
So your game is called Elsie, is that right?
Yes, it's called Elsie.
What is Elsie?
She is an android that's trying to save other androids called Guardians who are dealing with this conflict, essentially wrapping around all these different atmospheres. And so it's essentially, saving the world through the perspective of an android woman. And she's all about speed. She's all about attitude. We just redesigned her recently, so she looks super slick. She's really sick.
When I first took a look at it, it reminded me a lot of like Mega Man Zero, I guess, but like way more complex and flashy. Can you describe what the gameplay is like as well for obviously what people are seeing on screen here?
Yeah, I mean, it's obviously how we consume mini games is kind of correlating games we've already played. And so to me, I can't speak for the other devs, but for me, this is Mega Man X meets Dead Cells. In Mega Man X, you and most, even games like 20XX and 30XX, obviously you are the titular character, Mega Man X in this example, and then you are choosing your 8 robot masters. You fight them, you beat them, you get one weak weapon, then you go and you kind of eliminate them by that. This game is not that at all, in that it's all about powering up. It's all about progression through overcoming combat scenarios, opening up chests, resource management, and it's about snowballing. It's truly about snowballing to the point where you are just too powerful. And it's so fun just to see your build of Elsie just kind of starts with whatever combination of things that you want to do. All the augmentations, all the different weapons. It's all about breaking the game, and it's just so cool.
Everything is about giving the player as much power and fluidity in their moveset. Like her moveset, she's able to do so much, and she can combo everything with each other. So it's like when you get very good at the game, like mixing in the parry, the dash jumping, and all of her entire moveset, you can just like clear rooms without ever taking damage. And it's just like, it just feels so kinetic and just like fluid. It's very cathartic, just like once you like master her entire skill set. And that's like really what I was like after in the design for the game.
It's interesting too, because like I don't think, I play a lot of video games, but I don't think of myself as like a skilled gamer. And so I think I was kind of nervous to play this, but I still like had a lot of fun making progress. Did you guys spend a lot of time trying to make sure that you're still having a lot of fun if you're mastering things, but not like also just getting punished if you're bad or just not as good, I suppose?
I'm not a player of roguelikes or even difficult games for that matter. I play games at like normal difficulty all the time, and the only roguelike I've really played has been Hades. Alex has played every roguelike under the sun and likes very difficult games. He thought Elsie was too easy. When I came in, I was like, we gotta dial it back a little bit. So we've had this push and pull and like balance to make sure that like newer players are still having fun, but then experienced players that mastered mechanics are also like enjoying it in a different way than those new players would.
All the time you spent on it so far, it doesn't even have to be your favorite part, but
Yeah.
Is there something that you absolutely loved like about this game in specific?
My favorite thing is the parry system, just because I'm not the biggest Gears of War fan, but the parry system just feels so satisfying to pull off when you're receiving a bullet or if someone's swinging a sword at you. You can do cool things where you can dash through an enemy, and before you take damage from said enemy, you can use your parry to continue through them. And if you time it properly, you're then exploding while dashing through the enemy and doing damage. So it's really just about momentum, and that's the coolest thing ever, just to feel that you can just dash and parry your way through the game. I guarantee you someone out there will do a dash and parry only run, and if they do that, I will be so hyped. It's just so rad. I can't stop saying that.
For me, our art style, I think, is very unique. We're striving for something that feels familiar at first, but then it's not quite the same thing you see all the time, right? Something that really pops out at you and it's really flashy, but then it's, like he said the word cathartic, and I think like cathartic would be a good word, right? Something, and it kind of wraps into like our parry system, which I think is my favorite mechanic of the entire game. It really promotes that flashiness, and then with the unique art style that we're trying to shoot for, it really ties it all together.
So as somebody as well who's like been in the sphere, in the industry for years, like as like a critic, I suppose, or even just like an entertainer for on the video game side, what decision do you think it was that led you to want to like be involved with like actually making games now?
It's gonna sound kind of weird, but the people themselves who are making these games. Alejandro, Pedro, Eric, some of the guys I met at the other companies I'm producing, like Tom and Squidly. These are all developers who put their blood, sweat, and tears into every single thing they're doing, and they're doing it from the perspective of not ride or die or go broke for it, but they're really putting every inch of themselves in this game, and they're trying their best to show everyone that they too can make a game. And that is my spirit of how I started YouTube. I started from a perspective of doing the impossible, right? Completing a game a week and kind of sharing my journey and doing it over and over again. And I really did it because I truly thought that no one thought I could do it and that I was wasting my time, and I wanted to prove everyone wrong. And that passion and drive that I have is something I see in the Elsie team. And immediately when I was talking to them through my various charity events called Indieland, where we're raising money and playing indie games, I just asked them, like, hey, if there's anything I can ever do, please let me know. And, I remember Pedro going, yes, actually, we would love to talk to you. And, I introduced them to their publisher, and their publisher loved working with them. And suddenly they're asking, hey, do you want to join the team? And it's fascinating because I can't believe it took me this long to want to do it. But at the same time, I have so much respect for Donkey with Big Mode and Jesse Cox with 6040 Studios and really just all my other friends out there who are doing stuff. And I truly believe the future of game development is no longer just the model of game developer, publisher, and a PR firm to do marketing. It really could be game developer and content creator coming together to kind of change the way that games are created for the better. And that's just so exciting. And I think there's just who better to help make games than the people who are playing these games so much and learning and reading the aspects of what developers go through each and every day.
Speaking of learning as well, do you feel that there's anything in specific that you've learned like along these few years journey or actually just making games?
The lesson that I think I learned the most out of all this is that I don't know what I don't know. And to act like I can walk in the room and tell the guys, I really think that level 4 should change the graphics is obviously a meme in itself, but to be able to, they'll ask me for feedback and go, hey, what do you think about this? And sometimes they'll go, I never thought of it that way. I never thought of that perspective. And I sit on it and I dwell on it. And, they show me sprites all the time and animations and mechanics. And they're always saying, hey, do you think this works? And oftentimes I go, I don't know if it works. And then I think about it more and more, and I'm like, yeah, how am I supposed to know it works? I've never developed a game before, but in having these conversations with them, I'm starting to see how the developers think more and more, and how they're teaching people how to play their games. And so it's just really cool to be able to just learn with them as they're giving me ideas and feedback based off my ideas and feedback. And 9 out of 10 times, these guys have just been like, yeah, that sounds awesome. Let's give it a shot. And if it doesn't work, I can at least go, well, hey, I was heard, and again, I don't know what I don't know. And that's the thing that I keep kind of circling back to when I'm helping these guys out, because they're treating me seriously. There's a lot of people who, when I said, hey, I'd help you make your game, or I want to help publish, a lot of them are like, well, you don't know anything about games. You're not a game guy. You're not a game developer. You're not a businessman. And to have these guys go, hey, we trust you. We want you to keep doing this and giving feedback really meant the world to me. And so, again, kind of going back to that passion, and that's a long way to answer your question, it just seems that we just aligned so much. And that chemistry and synergy is what's important to make a game like Elsie.
You guys were telling me earlier that you guys have been working on this for like 5 to 7 years or something like that. How has that journey been, just trying to, stick with it and get to the point where you are now?
It's been a long journey, especially for me. Like, I've been at this game like for 7 years. The first game that I was working on was Elsie, just like the first one. Like, I kind of consider this one's like Elsie 2. That one was like a completely different game to this, and it's just like two to 3 years into development of that, I kind of just scrapped it and we started over, and that's where I brought in Pedro and a new team, and that's when we started working on Elsie, which was 5 years of development. It's been like very tough. It's been like a long journey. A lot of the years was just like I funded it all by myself. It was very difficult, but like it's become much easier with Jirard's help and just getting like funding from like Platonic and everything. It's been like a godsend.
Does Elsie have a time frame that it's going to try to release as well?
we're nearing kind of the bend on content lock right now. We're getting towards the end of that cycle, and I don't want to give an exact date, but we're going to be coming to a Nintendo Switch and Steam sometime this year, towards the later half of the year. So we're excited. Can't confirm physical release, but we can't do it yet. But we would love to talk about it and develop it, and there's been conversations to happen already there. So we're just excited that people are excited.
Yeah, I mean, we are when I first saw the visuals of the game, that was definitely what attracted me the most. But the game is so fast and fluid that I had a few moments where I just felt genuinely good. So so thanks for helping make this happen.
Thanks for playing. We appreciate it.
Thanks, man. Yeah, thanks for the time.